That looks real good. Popping up. There we go.
It's nice to get to watch people go by.
Oh yeah, I know. I love the new studio because before we were out in McCoursville,
Okay.
and then we were on Emerson for a minute. But I like this because now we can like see people. You know, hopefully people will come by and say, "Hey, that's what we
Yeah,
want."
that would be lovely.
Let me know when I'm ready, boss. All right. They were just teasing me about my intro a minute ago. Hey, there's my girl Cheryl. Oh, what up, boo? Patrick Pierce. Yes. New faces. I love it. Well, here you come trying to take over the show with that singing, crooning voice of yours. Trying to croon. I'm going to need you to not mess up my show with your crooning. They ain't going to want to hear me talk when they can hear you sing.
I ain't messing up your show,
I know.
Okay.
I promise you I won't.
Coming in here crooning, I'm Jumbo Love.
No, my daggone laptop froze up.
Uh-oh, that's a good thing.
No, we alright. I gotta just reset some stuff here real quick. Told you it ain't easy being a little bootleg.
I know. But it's alright. We're growing every day.
Every single day.
We're growing every day.
I need to put that on pause. Open up your voice.
You ready?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black. Wow, what a week. It has been fantastic. I got to hang out with Team Aguilera at the Labor Fest. Did y'all make it down to the Labor Fest? Do y'all understand how important and wonderful that event is? I mean, especially as Democrats, right? We celebrate and talk about labor, and I actually enjoy my 40-hour work week and my paid holidays and my vacation days and holiday pays because of all the hard work our labor unions have put in over the years to ensure that quality of life, you're not just at work all the time, and we don't have 12-year-olds working in coal mines anymore. So y'all give it up to the unions who make it possible for people to have real lives. I mean, I love. We are coming to you live from RadioNext.tv. Have y'all checked this out? Have y'all gone online? Did I explain the need for a chocolate girl like me to have plenty of lights on? Did we talk about that? Have you signed up to be a sponsor? This is real business. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the black is not like a moniker. It's for real. It is for real. We got to have bright lights on the system. I'm just saying, hey, sign up. We are at Office Flex, 10th and Jefferson. I got to get all my shout-outs going on because this is a minority thing happening. Black man on the building, black man on the radio station, and black woman on the show. What you say? What you say? I'm just saying, hey, Indiana's on. This is how we do on Turn Left. So you know me. I got a couple of rants first. So our governor, because he's so wise and so fiscally sound, he has decided that we need to raise the price of our toll roads because we got to raise money now to fix things that should have been fixed with some of that $1.8 billion we have sitting around. So if you drive a Class 7 truck, it's gonna cost you about $40 to drive through Indiana if you take the northern toll road. That's a huge increase, and that's a lot of money for some of those truck drivers. I probably wouldn't even get on the toll road. I'll just take 94. Why get on the toll road if I don't have to? If you're going to raise the price like that. But, and then there's no real, like, no one knows how much money we will get versus the toll road provider. Because, see, we sold our toll roads. So, you know, they going to get their money first. And then we get what's left over. Because they so smart. They so smart, weren't they? They sold the toll roads. That money, where did it go? Did it fix any of the roads? Apparently not. Apparently not. Not so fiscally sound. But I wanted y'all to know about that because that's the first one. I told you more toll roads were coming. I told you more prices were coming. Y'all, this is the first step. See, they wanted to make sure they highlighted it. It was a Class 7 truck driver. But yours is coming soon. Please believe that. Step 1, increase the prices of the existing toll roads. Step 2, add tolls to roads that you've already paid for. Know it's coming. Understand it, it is coming. Alright, look that up, find out what's going on, keep abreast of it, and people that voted for this thing, vote them out. Let's have a revolution. So, the House passed their farm bill. That farm bill is pretty awful. It increases work requirements for people who are already working. It would cut 10% of our rolls, which means a lot of children now will go hungry. This farm bill, I know that I've been talking about it on other shows and other places, but this thing is happening now. These guys are voting on this thing in Washington, D.C. Now, I do find it interesting that they can give themselves this huge, incredible, massive tax cut to the wealthy, but to pay for it, they're going to starve hungry children? Isn't it time we elected people that actually care about people? Isn't it time? Don't you think? Blue Wave? It's a time. I'm really upset about this because it doesn't even make any sense to continue to hurt people who are the most vulnerable. So that wealthy people can stack their chips with their greedy selves. I mean, come on. Christian nation, you know, Christian nation, I thought you were supposed to be givers and take care of the poor and the sick and the vulnerable. But all I see is they stacking their chips. And be damned with you. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed the Nike conversation like everybody else. But we got real issues that we have to deal with. And whether or not people burn their Nikes while they on their feet, let them be stupid. They don't. Hopefully they have good health care. But at the rate they going, they not. Because they keep voting against their own interests. So those are two of the issues that are out there, that are pending, that are important, that have impact on everyday lives. You guys need to find out about those things and keep it moving. I do want to make one announcement. The Indianapolis Federation of Democratic Women is hosting their kickoff Thursday, September 27th at 6 p.m. Y'all make sure y'all turn left at the kickoff. I'm just saying. No. But my girl, Dawn Lewis, is getting that going. The Federation is a wonderful place for women to collaborate. We're having it. This is an indie chapter of the Federation. Join in. My girl Dawn Lewis is doing her thing. I love the work that they're putting in. And if you want to advertise on Turn Left or on Radio Next or any one of our affiliates, go to radionext.tv, drop a few coins. Not a lot, just a few coins, and we'll get that announced for you. All right. I got great guests. You know, it's girl power in the house. Girl power. I know I get a little extra when there's girl power. Don't get me wrong. I love my men folk. I have incredible conversation with my men folk. But when there's girl power in the house, what? And I'm bringing in the region tonight. What? Y'all, hey, the region always tells us they feel like they're not being represented down here in Indianapolis. I ain't having none of that. None of that. The region is here. First off, I want to introduce you to Loretta Barnes. She is running in House District 13. Loretta, say hi to the people.
Hi, everyone.
And then, of course, from the region, Carolyn Johnson, who's running in District 1. She is running in my girl Linda Lawson's spot. Since Linda decided she was going to retire, Miss Carolyn is going to step in and be that boss chick. What? I'm sorry, am I supposed to say chick? People get on me all the time. I can't. Boss. That's what she going to be, boss. So, welcome to the show, Miss Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Dana.
I'm so glad you drove all the way down. That means so much to me that you guys came from Tippecanoe County.
Yes.
Yep, Tippecanoe came from Lake County.
Yes.
Again, Turn Left is about 92 counties. This is a whole state program, and then I also like that we got people from different regions. So you're going to be able to hear that Democratic message no matter what region they come from. So Loretta, we're going to start with you. Tell the people who you are, where you come from.
Thanks, Dana.
Did I get you hype?
Yes, you did. I always love hearing you talk.
Tell my wife that. She seems to forget.
My name's Loretta Barnes. I live in Lafayette, and I grew up primarily in Georgia and Florida.
Oh my, Southern girl. Southern girl.
A little bit.
Frankie Beverly and Maze for y'all that don't know.
I've been in Indiana for 20 years, though. I've lived in Lafayette, graduated from Purdue, and I'm a marketing manager. I've been a marketing manager for 11 years, and I am a first-time candidate. Decided to run for state representative, partly because of all of the things that are happening in both nationally and statewide, locally, because based off of, I just think that laws should be created to help people rather than hurt people.
Well, that sounds like a good enough reason to me. So growing up, were you ever interested in politics as a young person?
I was interested in a lot. I was interested in a lot of subjects. Politics, not as much, although I had great respect for the office of the president and the governor, and you just grew up thinking of the president as this person that you respect.
Okay.
And
My have times changed.
And then now, so many things are happening in our government that it's hard for my 5-year-old to grow up respecting the president.
Wow. So when you were young, you said you're marketing manager, so you understand how to messaging and what that is like. The messaging that we're getting now from our leaders here in the state, what kind of message do you think that they're conveying?
Well, from things that they won't pass a hate crimes bill. I recently got asked on a survey, how can we show our LGBTQ community that Indiana supports them? How can we fix Indiana's image? And I said, well, the first thing you can do is stop trying to pass laws to discriminate against them.
Well, what you know about that?
Yeah, stop.
Nothing says I love you like hate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So those are good reasons. I mean, I think those are fantastic. Carolyn,
yeah.
Tell people who you are, where you come from.
Okay, I'm Carolyn Jackson, and I currently live in Hammond.
Hammond?
And I would be representing Hammond and Whiting.
Okay.
I grew up, actually, in
Mississippi
for a short period of time. And then I moved to Chicago.
I know I got two Southern girls. HB, I'm gonna need you to drop a Southern girl in there. And I know you got some Frankie Beverly and Maze Southern girl. My family's from Mississippi too, so you know I know you can cook there, so I ain't worried about that.
Oh yeah.
Both of y'all. Something about them Southern girls can cook. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. And I lived in Chicago. I worked for the Cook County Adult Probation Department, where I worked in criminal justice. And upon retiring, I have been volunteering and doing all kinds of things in the community in which I live. And as a result of volunteering and meeting people and things like that, I got to see firsthand a lot of the situations that people want change.
Okay.
I got to see the passion in their voice, the tears in their eyes, about just simple things such as transportation, health care, women's rights, things like that. These are the things that inspired me to run once I heard that our current representative was retiring.
Right. Linda Lawson is awesome. Hats off to my girl. We're going to miss her. Well, she's just down the road now, so I can go harass her whenever I want. Right. And so when you were younger, did you find yourself being interested or pulled towards politics?
No.
No. Is this your first race?
This is my first run.
So did you have a primary opponent?
No.
Okay. So did you have a primary opponent?
No.
So we all won our very first election. We don't care that there was no primary opponent. We still won our first. We all have something in common. We won our first election.
Yes.
So, there are a lot of things that are happening around our state. And when we begin our campaigns, sometimes we think we know what we want to talk about. We think we know what we want to stand for. But when you're out and you're knocking on doors, sometimes that changes. Tell me where you were when you started and how you've evolved as a candidate and learning about what your constituents need.
When I first started, I just wanted to not be waiting for someone else to make the changes. I wanted to step up and help make changes, but mostly I was hearing national issues.
Okay.
But as I started running, and I've gone, because my district covers parts of 8 counties.
Okay.
Gerrymandering.
Ooh, boy.
So as I go to like Earl Park, they have to drive 50 minutes to get to work every day because there's lack of business and growth in Earl Park. And you see that all over. Or in Warren County, where they only have 2 emergency service vehicles.
What?
And then one of the vehicles...
Time out.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Time out. Stop. Did you say you said Warren County or Warren Township?
Warren County.
Warren County only has what?
I believe they have 2 emergency service vehicles, and one of them sometimes is in contract with the hospital that anytime there needs to be a transfer, they have to transfer using one of those vehicles. And so if there are 2 emergencies in Warren County has to get help from neighboring counties because they don't have enough help in the emergency services area.
That is incredibly scary. You're talking about health care. We talk about health care and affordable health care. This is affordable health care. This is what it looks like. It's not just about your prescriptions. It's not just about your doctor visits. It's can you get to the damn hospital before you're dead? Can they show up on time? 2 emergency vehicles for the entire county. I need y'all to feel that, embrace that, hold that, and know that we are feeling for you folks in Warren County that you only have 2 emergency vehicles. Now, I don't know what the population is, but I'm certain the square footage, just the square miles of the county would warrant at least 1 at each corner.
Yes, it's possible they have 3, but at least one of their vehicles gets used by the hospital to transport patients. And whenever that happens, and Warren County is a pretty big county, and all you have to do is go to the Warren County Facebook page where they're talking about the issues, and they're great people, great emergency workers, and they work hard. They just need resources.
Absolutely. So, Carolyn, when you started off, where were you, and how have you evolved?
Well, I've always been about education. And I think what really got me was when the state passed the resolution to have the pre-K to kindergarten program.
Okay.
However, we only have 1 in Northwest Indiana. So that's for all the children in Northwest Indiana.
Okay, when you say Northwest Indiana, you're not just saying Lake County. Are you saying like LaPorte County and Porter County?
Yes. One, so far as I know, yes, 1. In fact, there are only 9 pre-K to kindergarten funded programs in the entire state.
Right, because they were trying to make it a pilot program.
Exactly.
Are they summer studying that thing?
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. I think the Firefly was a little bit more important.
Firefly was important. That damn, we got a Firefly.
Yes.
I know my stepdaughter is happy about that because that is her favorite insect.
Yeah.
Fireflies, and she wears them and buys them, and but yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So did that, have you evolved any on greater issues, or education is big enough? But.
Yeah, that is one. The other one is healthcare.
Okay.
And with healthcare, you've got people who have mental health issues, and trying to get somewhere to get some mental health treatment is difficult. And I've talked to so many people that have literally cried on their doorstep telling me how they have had to quit working so that they can transport their loved ones back and forth to have treatment. And it's not just around the corner.
Right.
It's in another entire city.
This is amazing. I had no idea. I had no idea when we sat down and talked that both of you would be sharing medical transportation issues
Yes.
with me in 2 different regions of our state. So apparently, when we talk about affordable health care, it's not just about the medicines and the doctor visits. It's literally all of the ancillary things that surround that. And you're telling, in Lake County and now in Tippecanoe County and different areas of the state, it's the same problem. That means that we're not funding things properly, people. That means if you can't get to where you need to get medical service, it doesn't matter if you can afford to pay for that, but if you can't get there, what good is it?
Exactly.
So chime in, y'all. Just go.
Exactly. You know, and that's another thing that really disturbed me. Also, since we're on the subject of healthcare, I've got to mention healthcare for women.
Come on.
Because I feel, and I've had so many other people to say to me, men do not have any business in our business as far as our bodies are concerned. That is an issue that's between you and your doctor,
Absolutely.
or you and your husband, not all of the people who are making these laws that they think should affect you and your body.
Well, Brett Kavanaugh doesn't think that, and he's talking about that today and yesterday.
And Kamala Harris, when she asked him what laws govern a man's body,
Exactly.
none.
None.
Yes.
And that's hilarious when you consider that most men still fumble their way around a woman's anatomy anyway. I can't speak for all of them, but I got straight girlfriends, and they tell me the truth. So if they fumbling when they supposed to be having fun, how would they possibly know what to do when there's an emergent situation, or how it could possibly affect us? Like, I would never try to tell a woman who's pregnant what her body is going to do, because I've never been pregnant. And these dudes, go ahead, jump in.
It all comes down to the fact that women make up 50% of the population.
A little more than that, but we go with that.
A little more than 50%, yet we are not represented by 50%.
Absolutely.
Statewide, local, federal,
Exactly.
everywhere. But this year, in 2018, we're changing that.
Absolutely.
So many women in Tippecanoe County. I believe there are 23 Democrats running, and I may have this wrong, but 15 of them are women.
That's
Yes.
beautiful. Yes. That is beautiful. I mean, and it's time, right? It took us to elect a misogynist, you
Yes.
know, among many other labels I can give him,
Yes.
right? To be elected president, unfortunately, for a lot of women to wake up and realize that they can impact change. But, okay, we had to take a step back to go forward. For example, you know, Rosa had to be arrested for us to have the boycott to end, you know, segregation. And
Exactly.
some things kind of have to happen negatively to get us moving in the right direction. And I applaud all the women. Oh my God, I was in Michigan City yesterday, and I spoke at a luncheon up there, and you have these women who are now fired up.
Yes.
I mean, you know, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. They really should have paid attention to that, because
Exactly.
look at what's happening with these women running for governor.
You don't put babies in cages.
Mm.
Babies in cages, and you don't take away children's health care.
No, you don't.
You just don't do
Children,
that.
and you don't starve people.
No, you don't starve.
Exactly.
1 in 5 kids in Indiana go hungry every day.
Exactly. And don't forget about the fact that women are doing the same jobs that men are in many instances, and they are not making equal pay.
No, they're not.
I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of between 65 and 70%.
Never mind if you're not a white woman.
Exactly.
Then it gets worse.
Come
Yes.
on. So, and it is frustrating, right?
Yes.
But here's where we make the change, right? We make the change by getting ourselves involved, getting ourselves in the policy-making business. I mean, because obviously it is a business. People making lots of money. You know, Paul Ryan is one of those folks who, and it just burns my soul. This man has lived his entire life off the public dime, but wants to cut Social Security, cut Medicare, cut everything he's earned even going to school was on the public dime.
Yes.
And now he doesn't believe that the public should be able to help those less fortunate and that don't have the same opportunities as him.
And it's all about, oh, I don't want my money to go to pay for somebody else who's freeloading. What they don't understand is when you help this person who's less fortunate than you, it lifts us all up.
Absolutely.
Yes, it does. And furthermore, the minimum salary here, hourly wage is $7. $7. Who can live on? How can you raise a family on $7?
The Indiana Chamber is holding training sessions on how to bust up unions.
Exactly.
Indiana Chamber, I'm coming for you.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we all are.
It's
coming
not a
for you on
secret
that one.
anymore.
No. That's see, your job is to promote business and help businesses thrive and grow, so that people can have opportunities, not to squash personal growth in the process. Indiana Chamber, I know Indy Chamber. I don't know if they're on board with this or not. I'm going to call my man Mike and see if he's on that same. But the Indiana Chamber is saying when you got and it's closed. We don't know when the dates are. We don't know when it's happening because I would sure be there. I would take the day off. And I would just go in there, I would be dressed in my business attire and just sit there and listen so I can understand what the strategies are, because you got to know where your enemies are coming from.
That's true. But the reality is, I think we can all agree, quality of life is why we're running, why there are women coming from everywhere to help, to support us, because we're just tired of it.
Mm-hmm. Tired.
Yes.
Sick and tired.
Yes.
And like I tell my friends, older white guys, we love you. We don't it's not like we hate y'all. We just want to play too. We all on the scene. We just want to get in the game. That's all it is. We ain't taking nothing from you.
And if I have to take a seat at a table so that I can represent those people in my community, then so be it. I will take that seat. Because I have heard many a story from those people. I have cried with them and everything else. And I'm not about representing one individual or two, or one group of people and not this group of people. I'm for representing all people who live, all 65,000, whatever the number is, plus in my district, to do what is right so that they can have a better quality of life. That's what I'm about, and that's what my goal is. Okay, and if I need to call on somebody, I've got a list of people that I've talked to who can explain certain situations a lot better than I can, because it's time for a change. It's time to turn that house blue, and it's time to roll that wave in. Oh, baby. And on that wave, we need to collect all that garbage and take it out.
And I've been on this new kick lately of equating the supermajority as being renters. When people rent property, they don't always put as much money into the property as they would if they own the property. There's a different mindset, and I feel like the legislators in my state house are renting Indiana. They're spending, they're not using the money the way it's supposed to be used. They're not requiring, people who set up shop in our businesses to help pay for the infrastructure that they're using. They're treating it like rental property, and then when they pass bills that they like, they move to DC so they can go get them a better piece of rental property. This is kind of like my new mantra now, and we need to evict they behinds. I almost said a bad word.
They're not doing what they need to do. Just look at my area. It's very rural area, very Republican area. There's nothing. People are people. So what happens in rural areas is manufacturing moves out, closes down because the unions aren't there. Restaurants. There's not a restaurant in Williamsport, Indiana. They have no restaurant in Williamsport, Indiana.
No, so if you don't feel like cooking,
you just gotta drive.
You gotta go to the gas station and get fried chicken from the gas station. That's what I was told. Anyway.
So that to me sounds like a food day. Well, I mean, there's
yes. So what it does, that along with rural broadband, not incentivizing manufacturing and good paying jobs to go to rural areas, what happens is those areas start dying. The children that grow up there want to go to Indianapolis or go to Chicago, go somewhere where they can actually live and where small businesses won't want to go there. There's no internet.
No, well, and that's one of the. Now I have to be honest. Holcomb's plan that we just talked about with the raising of the toll roads, He said the money he raises, he thinks he can raise $600 million, and he thinks that $20 million he can lure more international direct flights, because that's always important.
Yes.
If you can't afford a plane ticket, how important is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he can afford
it. Right, because
that's the key.
I ain't got but a handful of stamps.
But when was the last time he knocked on doors and he was in touch?
He's still surprised he won.
Here to find out what they really want.
He's still in shock. He's still in shock he won. $190 million for improvements to US 20 and 30, and the addition of new interchanges on US 31. $100 million US 31. I wonder if they're going to be more outside of Hamilton County, because Hamilton County got a whole bunch of stuff going. Anyway, $100 million is supposedly to bring broadband access to the rural communities and underserved areas through grants.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now I had to throw that. This is it.
Now, expensive areas have roundabouts, but Attica can't have sidewalks that you can't trip on. But they're going to give all that money to rural broadband.
Yeah,
Who gets it first?
Well, I am not convinced. I mean, because first of all, that to me, I don't know what the plan is, right? By the way, $90 million for additional hiking, biking, and riding trails. Now, Don't get me wrong. I believe that that's a part of quality of life, so there should be some investment in those kinds of things. But it just seems like if we were raising revenue in a more responsible, even-handed way, meaning that businesses contribute the same way that individuals now have to contribute, or people who are driving over our toll roads, then we can collect that money and then use it the right way, versus every time you turn around, the cost of living in Indiana goes up when the wages are stagnant.
Maybe feed 1 of 5 children in Indiana that are hungry instead of helping hikers hike up the road.
Don't get me wrong, I like the hiking.
I like it. It beautifies the area, encourages people to come in, encourages businesses. I agree with that too.
I think it's a great idea, but the thing of it is that's not the meat and potatoes of what needs to happen here in Indiana.
No, and I think the broadband access should be a better public-private partnership where Verizon would get some greater customers, and we can help offset some of those costs, so students right are not falling behind. I mean, I think about that from an educational point. To me,
they live in dead zones at home.
Yes. They have to go to the McDonald's.
Yes,
exactly.
That's where I am with that. But I wanted to speak to that because I didn't give all the points about the toll increase, but that's just the first step. There's going to be more tolls, and these are the things that they say they're going to spend money on. But y'all know what? They sold the toll roads. We got crappy roads. They got the lottery. That was supposed to improve things. We still haven't got those things improved. I ain't altogether convinced that the leaders at our state house know how to actually use our tax dollars the right way.
We need action.
Well, what it seems to me that has happened for the past couple of years is they have any small agenda, not important, they bring that up to block our Democrats' agenda that is going to change the quality of life, that is going to help the people not in just their areas, meaning the Republican areas, but the people in the entire state. Those things seem to always take precedent over what we really need.
Absolutely.
Eyeball tattoos.
Yes.
Thank goodness that's illegal.
Wow.
How
many of us can't wait to go and get one?
Wait a minute, but I didn't even know people were, that was a thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but here's another, to me, that's so hypocritical, right?
Yeah.
Because we want small government, but your government is so small it can fit on my eyeball.
Yes.
You basically just created a law to prevent me from doing something to my dear personal body that I wanted to do.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't. It's not like no, man.
When DCS needs help.
Thank you.
Yes.
But see, bait and switch, right? Bait and switch.
Right.
And see, but go ahead.
I was going to say, just like they're so busy passing this new basic educational program. But hello, they forgot about those children who have disabilities. How are they going to meet the criteria in order to graduate from 8th grade in high school? They can't, because now they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and correct that. because this is to go start in January of 2019.
Unless you have a special education teacher or someone who deals with special needs young folk, they don't even think about it. I literally was out at a polling place this year, excuse me, in May, and one of the pollsters on the other side of the aisle asked, well, how is it that private schools can educate kids at a cheaper rate than public schools? And literally, I couldn't believe he was even asking that question, because I was like, private schools don't have to take everybody. Right. Public schools have to take everybody, and it costs a little more to educate a child whose family is hungry because the parent is on opioids. Or it costs a little more to educate a child who has special needs. Private schools don't have to take that, but they can take the tax dollars and discriminate against you.
Exactly. And furthermore, every child that goes to school is not college material.
No, they're not.
Okay, there are many children who would thrive if they had a program where they could participate in, such as, carpentry,
plumbers. I still need a plumber. If you got a young person who's growing up, help a sister out. I need plumbers and electricians. Things in my house that my wife will not let me paint, so let alone plumb.
Yes.
That's where we went wrong.
Years ago.
Showing value is college.
Exactly.
And where that has a lot of value, there is just as much value in someone who can fix things, someone who can repair a car, I don't believe that college should have ever been the only option.
Right.
Apprenticeships.
Yes.
What unions do, all the apprenticeships they line up.
And many of these apprenticeships are free.
Yes, they are. And honestly,
they are free, and they have so many spaces available. But they have no bodies, because the basic information, the basic education that they need to get in that program, they're not getting.
And what's so crazy about it is I had the pleasure of having lunch with Senator Donnelly a few weeks back, and he talked about how he was talking to all these union folks about all these apprenticeship opportunities, and they are desperate for people of color.
Yes.
They are women and people of color. They are desperate for it, but we put a stigma on working with your hands, when I know carpenters and electricians and plumbers and HVAC folk are making $80,000-$90,000 after they go through.
Money.
You gotta earn it. It just don't come. You don't just wake up and go, I'm a plumber and I'm gonna make $80,000. But you build that up, and if you're part of the union, you're taken care of.
Exactly. It's beautiful too. Things that someone can do with their, like carpentry, what they can do with their hands. That is a skill that you don't necessarily have. And now I'm college educated. But again, I see it as the path that I chose, but not any more important than the path that other people choose. And again, it has to do with what you grow up with, what you learn. I feel that everybody has a particular skill or a particular knowledge about something that's extra special.
Just to them, unique to them.
Exactly, and some things do. They just come natural with some people.
Yeah,
but
like
the
me
fact
talking.
of it is a college educated, someone who is not, they can fill that gap. And right now, with all these manufacturing plants and things coming here, I understand that they are desperately in need of people, but they can't get them because they are not applying for the jobs, because they're not paying
enough,
and they are not trained.
Right, and then what's so crazy, and I read this not long ago, where when a business comes in and they pay they come into a town, like a small rural town, and they bring all these jobs, and all these jobs are what's touted, but they're very low paying jobs. Now you have an entire community who is in poverty.
Yes.
Make it impossible for them to go find something else.
Right.
So why would you, as a business leader and as a state leader, why would you want any of your communities to be in poverty? I mean, and these are things you're proud of.
Yes.
You're proud of the fact that I put a whole community in poverty.
And like with the corporate tax cuts, all these corporations got so much money, yet how many people have gotten raises? Who's gotten a raise?
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that pretty design up there. I'm sorry, raises?
Right, and that's why I think U.S. Steel just voted to strike.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Just I want to say yesterday or today.
Really? What are their issues over there?
Their issue is more money. They this year with the tariffs and all of this, the USDA made so much money, but they only want to give their employees just a little piece of the pie.
And what's so really crazy about it is they don't mind dumping toxic waste in the lake at the same time. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
I ain't done with that because they had to be exposed by a student at the University of Chicago, U.S. Steel. All right, so before we wrap it, because we going, girls, and I love it. Hey, we just having that girl power hour, and I love it. Give me your 3 points that you're talking about when you're out on the campaign so people know.
Okay, what I talk about is education. I believe teachers should be respected more and be treated as the professional that they are. They should be getting more money. They should not have to use their own money to buy school supplies. They shouldn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs to pay their bills. I'm talking about a living wage, and not just minimum wage. I'm talking about people who are stuck in a job for years and years, and a corporation who gets tax cuts. Because they have their workers in this bubble, then they don't get paid a decent amount of money for the work that they do. And then I also talk about health care, and it's about you shouldn't have to choose between if you're going to have your diabetes medicine or if you're going to pay your bills that week.
Okay.
You shouldn't have to do that. And it's not just about your insurance, it's about in rural areas where small health centers can't stay open. And they close down.
True, yeah.
And then what do you have to do if you live in a rural area? You got to go 45 minutes to a hospital.
Carolyn, give me your 3 points.
Okay, I talk about education as well. Mainly starting with the pre-K, going all the way up to the college and the programs for trades. Then I talk about employment. The minimum wage has to be increased. So that the quality of life can increase. Can improve. Also, I talk about the women's rights.
Okay.
Women need to make the same that men make.
Yes.
And the one thing that I started
for the
talking
same
about
work.
exactly for the same work. That is correct. And the other thing that I talk about, I really push this issue, is the redistricting.
Okay.
The gerrymandering.
Okay. And I like all 3 of those points because those are very, first of all, that fits our platform. That's what we talk about as Democrats. And I love that from different regions, different areas, different makeups of the districts that you represent. As Democrats, we're talking about the same thing. I want to touch on something that I don't get a chance to touch on very often. And, excuse me, I'm kind of putting this on the spot, and I'm taking ownership of it because we need to do better. We don't talk about our seniors enough.
Yes.
We don't talk about our seniors enough, and I'm just as guilty because when the guests come on, if senior issues aren't brought up, I don't bring it up, and so today I'm going to do it. And the reason why I'm doing it because, ladies, honestly, we are usually the caregivers.
Exactly.
As our parents age. I took care of both of my parents. With my mother, I had help with my aunts, her 2 sisters. But with my dad, I was pretty much left my own devices because my brother was in the wind. And if you ever ask me about my brother off camera, I'll tell you about it.
Because seniors are very dear to my heart as well. I do talk to them, and I do talk about the program because the seniors in my area, they have a lot of issues as well, and one of them is transportation. Getting where they have to go. Maybe they're in one of those mobile wheelchairs. Getting here, there, and everywhere. And it's very difficult in the snow if they have to ride along the side of the street to get where they have to go. To get on one of the buses that transports them back and forth to get to health care. The thing of it is if they get a call that the doctor's not coming today, and they want to reschedule, and maybe they want to reschedule on a short date. Their problem is getting to that date, getting to that that appointment on that short date, because they may have to call 2 or 3 weeks in advance to get an appointment to ride on the van. So that's one of the things. The other one is veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Veterans, a lot of these social service programs, not only for the seniors but for the veterans, they've been cut.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
and Indiana's like the worst place to live if you're a veteran.
I hate to say it, but we're at the bottom of the list.
We at the bottom of the list of all the good qualities, and we at the top of the list of all the bad qualities. That's Indiana. That's why we need to flip it.
Yeah.
I mean, and senior care, like, you know, you talk about the wheelchairs. My wife actually uses a wheelchair, and she's not confined to one, but she uses one. And we are very fortunate that my wife can afford to have a vehicle that's been modified so that it takes care of her chair. But I remember, you know, before she was able to get this and was in this position, she talked about how even here in Marion County, the hours upon hours it would take to book a metro to come get her.
Yeah.
I have taken elderly friends to surgery in the morning when you got to be there. You know, they want you to check in at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're going in for surgery, and all I can do is drop them off because I still got to go to work. And they're not family or anything like that. They were just a friend that needed a ride. Yes, I hang out with seniors for fun. Yes, I do. Seniors are amazing people.
They are.
Yes, they are. And if you talk to them and spend any time with them, you're going to find out that there's so many more issues other than what we have time to even discuss that's going on with them. And you know, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all of those are big topics with them.
And if one more person tells me those things are entitlements, I'm gonna blow a stack, because an entitlement is something that you get that you haven't paid for.
That's right.
When you pay into Social Security, that's not an entitlement. You earned it. You paid for it.
Not to mention these people have worked their entire lives,
Exactly.
hard working their entire lives. Some still working at 80 years old. And they raised us, grew us up, supported us. And so I think that 100% they should have health care.
Right.
They
And
shouldn't have to struggle for that.
And the idea that we don't automatically make sure that every veteran, you brought that up, has health care. I actually have a different plan. I mean, I feel like it's only 1% of our population that actually volunteers in our all-volunteer armed services. And since the 1% on the other side, most of the wars that we get into or the conflicts we get into are because of that other 1%.
Yeah.
So, you know, essentially it's those two. Then that 1% should make sure that every person who volunteers for service gets their first home on the house. Okay. Yes, I mean that. And now, I'm not saying that everyone should get a $300,000 home with an indoor pool and I'm not saying that. But your first home when you get out of the service, if you're not a lifer and you've done your 3 to 5 or whatever it is years, and you're in your 20s, 30s. What's wrong with a 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom home on a half acre? There's nothing wrong with that. Give it to them. They were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. I can put a roof over your head. The second thing is they ought to be able to walk it to me. It's just Dana Black. Dana Black. They should be able to walk into any medical facility.
Yes.
And get medical care regardless.
Free.
And medical care timely.
Yes.
Timely.
Because to get medical care and you have to wait 6 to 8 months for an appointment.
Well, that's the VA.
It's not good.
Yes.
I don't think they should have to go to the VA. My husband is a veteran. He was in Iraq. He was gone for 1.5 years. They come back whether they're physically hurt or not. They come back with PTSD.
Yeah,
they come back.
Yeah.
He couldn't climb ladders for a while. That he does that for his job. He couldn't be in crowded rooms for a while. So along with mental issues that they have to deal with, even if it's just for a period of time when they come back.
It's an adjustment.
If you've gone to war, if you've been in active duty, if you've served your country, I believe for the rest of your life you should get free health care. And I don't say that just because my husband was.
It's not just the husband or the wife or whoever it was that was there, but that impacts their family as well.
Yes, I mean, those are the things that I believe in. I mean, because I am a chicken. I was never gonna go crawling through the mucky mud, do basic training. I didn't have enough discipline. I talked too much. You yell at me, I'm going to yell at you back. All the things that you can't never do in the military. But there are people who want to do it and are willing to do it and are willing to give, to protect me, right? So that I can have a platform to moan and groan about what I want to. Man, take care of these people. There's enough money. There's enough money to do this. There's enough money to do the things that we want to do and need to do, but some people are just being damn greedy. And I mean it. I mean, when they talk about Americans' interests overseas, they not your interests.
No.
You don't own none of them oil fields.
No.
You ain't getting a cut from none of that. Come on. We seniors and veterans, and when they want to get mad at calling about kneeling and disrespect. No, what disrespecting veterans is when you don't give them timely medical attention.
Exactly.
And you don't make sure they have a roof over their head.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's, I can go on and on and on about that.
When you say thanks for your service, but we're going to go ahead and let you wait 8 months until you get that medical appointment.
Or they cut VA service.
Right.
I mean, now this year, in the budget, there was supposed to be an increase, which was different from previous years, but it still ain't enough.
Right.
Some of that.
But you know what? I think this is the best thing ever. Once a year on Veterans Day, if you're a veteran, we'll give you a free hamburger.
Ain't
we'll
that all?
give you a free meal.
Donut.
So
a
donut, exactly.
Coffee.
So that is supposed to make everything okay for the 360 plus days that you have suffered and gone through hell. That one hamburger
for BS. Let's just talk about it. We sent these young men and women over there, and it was BS.
Yes.
It wasn't about America's interests. It was about America's business interests. Now, if you want to contract that out and go hire you some mercenaries, go do that instead of sending 19, 20, 24-year-olds over there to fight in a conflict that has nothing to do with America's security.
Right.
Some of them do, but for the most part, no.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And all we're doing with this is making these other countries rich.
Oh, and pissing them off too, because we killing innocent people, unfortunately. And people always want to say that, as Democrats are always, glorifying everything Barack Obama did. No, I'm not one of those, because I hated those damn drone strikes.
Mm-hmm.
I understood why. I still hated him. I mean, I imagine a 10-year-old in his village or whatever, and he hears the thing, and the next thing you know, something's blowing up around him.
Right.
The trauma that is created. That's me. All right. Before I want to make sure we get in. Tell people where they can find you.
You can go to my website at lorettabarnes.org, or you can visit me on Facebook at Loretta Barnes for Indiana House.
Okay. And do you have any fundraisers coming up?
On September 23rd, I'm having a chili cook-off.
Oh yeah! I tasted it. I had a test taste of Vanessa Aguilera's.
Personally invited. Vanessa Aguilera says she's going to blindfold John Aguilera and see if he can pick out her chili.
Oh, he better. Bruh.
That's a wine test.
I wouldn't even agree to that. I'd have been like, but I would know mine's chili. I don't care. I would know. So yeah, but the chili she made was fire.
It's at the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union Hall.
Excellent.
On 30th Street in Lafayette.
Excellent. And then when are you going out canvassing again?
I canvass 3 or 4 times a week in Tippecanoe County, and then every Saturday and sometimes Sunday in different counties in my district.
And where can they donate to your campaign from your website?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. See, this is what the most important part is getting help. Miss Carolyn, tell people where they can find you.
Okay, you can find me at votecbjackson.com, as well as on my Facebook page, which is Carolyn B. Jackson for State Rep, District 1. I have a event coming up. It will be a meet and greet. It will be in writing.
Free checks?
You will have to check my website because I'm still in the process of nailing down that date. But it's going to be at the coffee house there in writing.
Perfect. Bring money, y'all. Bring money. Meet and greets also mean meet and pay. They need help, right? Campaigns ain't cheap. Okay, and when are you door knocking again?
I will be door knocking tomorrow.
Oh, I love it. And I love that you drove all the way down. You drove all the way down. It just brings me joy that as candidates you have busy schedules, and you are willing to share your information with our listeners. It is so important. Like I said, even if you live in a safe district and there's a Democrat that you know is going to win, help somebody else out. I know Loretta's in a very tough district.
Yes.
She's in a very tough district. She can use all the help she can get. Stop looking at whether or not the numbers tell us someone can or can't win. That's not the point. We need to make sure that we compete as strong as we can. It's going to take all of us. We can't do it by ourselves.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote. So before we go tonight, and HB's got he's got another show coming on at 7, so I want to make sure I get this in before I leave. There's some things that have been irritating me that I need to discuss real quick before we get off the air today. You know, we are fortunate that we live in an era where people of color, women of color, candidates of color are winning Democratic races all over our country, from the school board all the way up to, you know, governorships and House reps. Still not enough senators, but that's okay. We're working on it. And as optimistic as I always am in reference to what we can be as a nation, trust, know, and believe, I get irritated as well. I get irritated at robocalls from the GOP side of the house with somebody using an exaggerated Sambo voice with jungle noises in the back. These are robocalls. I get incredibly frustrated when I hear Representative Zay talk about, you know, white males are the most marginalized group of individuals on the planet. I get really frustrated when I hear, you know, people wanting to wave their Confederate flag when Confederates were traitors. The Confederates were traitors to the United States. They wanted to leave. There's nothing glorious about being a traitor. And we got these people running around with Nazi flags. Yes, I get pissed off. Hell yes. I get pissed off when women are degraded for what they look like and how they dress and how they fix their hair. I get damn pissed off. And I get it, and I'm frustrated. I get frustrated at times just like everybody else. But what I do is I try to channel that energy. I try to channel that energy into what I think is a positive way to move things and to elicit change. I want to see change. I think change can happen. I do that through the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is not perfect by no stretch of the imagination what the organization is. But we in the Democratic Party work every day to be better. And we have made changes. And we are doing things differently. For example, this Saturday, we are having Power of the Black Vote in Bloomington. This is an NDEMS hosted event because we heard when we were gathering our platform information that the black community felt like Democrats didn't show up until it was time to ask for votes. We're not doing that anymore. We're going to be in the rural communities. We're going to be hosting events where we are reaching out to spaces that we normally don't reach out to. These things are coming. These things are coming. But don't think that I don't recognize racism when I see it, or misogyny when I see it, or Islamophobia when I see it. I just choose not to roll in the dirt. I choose not to wallow in it. I will call you out on your nonsense and remind you of history and give you a brief history lesson. I will show you images of what real discrimination looks like, Senator Zay. But I also want to bring it back down to my community. If you see somebody working on something and they are really trying to accomplish something good, you ain't got to berate them. You ain't got to call them out on social media. If they do something wrong or it's not correct and you are an organizer, then help them. Show them how to do it better. Give them the tools that they need because at least they're trying. There are people who are sitting around complaining about everything and won't lift a finger just to help themselves, let alone anybody else in the community. We have got to do better about helping each other and not beating each other down. Now, if you have all that negative energy, I need you to flip it. Otherwise, stay away from me. And I mean that because negative energy is not going to get us what we need. We talk about a blue wave, but it ain't going to happen on its own. We got to make it happen. We cannot flip. I talk about flipping seats. It does not happen if we don't get out and work. For example, in the LGBTQ plus community, we talk about we want real representation in our state house. But I haven't seen a whole host of people saying, I'm going to go help J.D. Ford. On September 15th, we're doing a day of action. Indiana Stonewall Democrats are doing a day of action for J.D. Ford. If you want real representation, go help. Go help Thomasina. Go help Joe Landon. You got to help. You can't just sit around and talk about how terrible things are. Do you feel me? I had to get that out because, yes, I get pissed off at dumbass racists. Because, you know, obviously intelligence is based on levels of melanin, dumbasses. But use your energy positively. I try to use and channel my anger and the things that irritate me to make positive change. Join me. Join the movement. Heck, come help HB. He can use some interns over here. We train all community all the time. Indiana's own Dana Black. Thank you so much, Loretta Barnes and Miss Carolyn Jackson for driving down. I had to get that out because, you know, folk, I'm not oblivious to the hate and the racism and the misogyny and the homophobia and all of that. But we got to work together. If you want to join Team Action, join Team Action. We got plenty of work to do. We need to get these ladies elected and flip seats. All right, Indiana on the black, turn left, I'm out. You know I got another show next week. Holla!
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.